My son grabbed a belt, demanding I sign a power of attorney in his name. My daughter-in-law laughed, whispering, "Everything will be ours now." Then the doorbell rang. She opened it, froze, then started screaming when she saw who was standing there. I heard my son's belt buckle click as he pulled it through the loops. The leather hissed against fabric. That sound, metallic, deliberate, echoed in my kitchen like a countdown timer. Marcus wrapped the belt around his right fist, the buckle dangling, catching the afternoon light. "Sign it, Dad," he said. His voice was flat, businesslike, like he was asking me to pass the salt. "Don't make this harder than it needs to be. I'm David Chen, 72 years old, retired civil engineer, 38 years designing bridges that still stand. I raised 2 kids after my wife died, taught them right from wrong, thought I'd done a decent job. I was wrong about that last part. That Tuesday afternoon, October 17th, 2:34 p.m., according to my kitchen clock, Marcus and his wife Lauren showed up unannounced. No call, no warning. I was making coffee, listening to NPR, when I heard their BMW pull into my driveway. The engine killed. 2 doors slammed. Then heavy footsteps on my porch. The front door opened without a knock. I have good locks. They have a key from when I had my hip surgery last year. "Dad, we need to talk." Marcus's voice came from the entryway. Not a greeting, not a "how are you feeling?" Just that. I walked into the living room. Marcus was already heading to the kitchen. Lauren stood by the door, arms crossed, wearing that Burberry coat I'd helped pay for when she got her promotion last spring. "Good afternoon to you too," I said. Marcus didn't respond. He dropped a manila folder on my kitchen table. Papers spilled out. Official-looking documents with colored tabs and highlighted sections. "Sit down," he said. "Excuse me? Sit down." He pulled out a chair, gestured to it like I was a child. "We're going to have a conversation, and you're going to listen." Lauren closed the front door, locked it. The deadbolt clicked with a finality that made my stomach tighten. I sat, not because he told me to, but because I needed to see what came next. Marcus pushed the documents toward me. "Power of attorney, financial and medical. You're going to sign it today." The pages were dense, legal terminology. My name at the top, David Chen, DOB, EO3, 14, 1952. And below, hereby grants full power of attorney to Marcus Chen for all financial, medical, DPOW, and legal decisions. "I don't need a power of attorney," I said carefully. "I'm perfectly capable." "You're 72, Lauren interrupted. She'd moved into the kitchen now, leaning against the counter. "You fell last month. You forgot to pay your electric bill. You're showing signs." "I tripped on a garden hose, and the electric bill was paid. I just paid it online instead of by check." "You're deteriorating," Marcus said. "We can all see it. It's time to accept reality." My hands stayed flat on the table. "I'm not signing anything." Marcus's jaw clenched. That vein in his temple started pulsing, the one that appeared when he was a teenager and didn't get his way. "Dad, don't be stubborn about this. We're trying to help you." "Help me what? Lose control of my own life?" "Protect your assets," Lauren said. She said it like she was explaining something to a toddler. "You have the house, the pension, the investment accounts. If something happens to you, if you get dementia or have a stroke, everything gets tied up in probate, gets taxed to hell. We're trying to prevent that. We're trying to protect your legacy," Marcus added. "For the family." I looked at my son, really looked at him. He was 43 years old, strong, healthy, wearing a watch that cost more than my first car, and he was standing in my kitchen trying to take everything I'd worked for. "No," I said. "No?" Marcus laughed, sharp, mean, the same laugh he'd used when he was 16 and thought he knew everything. "You don't have a choice, Dad. This is happening." I said no. Lauren pushed off the counter. "Marcus, maybe he needs to understand the situation better." "I understand perfectly," I said. "You want control of my money." "It's not like that," Marcus started. "Then what's it like?" I asked. "Explain it to me." He couldn't. His mouth opened, closed, his face flushed red. Lauren filled the silence. "Your house is worth $1.2 million. You have $340,000 in retirement accounts. Your pension pays $4,800 a month. That's significant assets for someone your age." "My age," I repeated. "Someone who could make poor decisions," she continued. "Someone who could get scammed. Or worse, you could remarry. Some woman could take advantage of you. I've been a widower for 16 years. I think if I wanted to remarry, I would have." "People get lonely," she said. "They make mistakes. We've seen it happen." I'd been patient. I'd been calm. But something in her tone, that condescending, calculating tone, made my hands curl into fists. "Get out of my house." Marcus slammed his hand on the table. The coffee cups jumped. "We're not leaving until you sign. Then we have a problem." "No, Dad, you have a problem." He reached for his waist, started unbuckling his belt. The leather hissed as he pulled it free from the loops. He wrapped it around his fist, leaving about 2 feet of leather hanging free. The buckle swung like a pendulum. "What are you doing?" I asked, even though I knew exactly what he was doing. "We tried being nice," Marcus said. "We tried explaining, but you're being unreasonable." Lauren leaned against the counter, casual as anything. "Like watching your husband threaten your elderly father-in-law with a belt was just another Tuesday afternoon activity." "Just sign it, David," she said. "My name, not Dad. Don't make this harder than it has to be." Marcus stepped closer. The belt cracked as he snapped it between his hands. "I don't want to do this, Dad, but you're leaving me no choice." My heart pounded. Not from fear, at least not the kind he wanted. From rage, from disbelief, from the surreal horror of watching your own own child becomes someone you don't recognize. You're really going to hit me? I asked. I'm going to do whatever it takes to protect this family, he said. By assaulting me? By making you see reason. He moved closer. Now he was standing right next to me, the belt still wrapped around his fist. Sign the papers. I needed them to understand something. So I looked up at him, my son, the boy I'd raised, the man threatening me in my own kitchen, and I said, very clearly, I will not sign anything under duress, and if you touch me with that belt, I will press charges. Lauren laughed. Actually, laughed. Who's going to believe you? You're old. You're confused. We're just trying to help, and you got aggressive. That's what everyone will hear. Everyone? I asked. The police? The courts? Your neighbors? She pulled out her phone, started typing. In fact, we're very concerned about your behavior today. The paranoia, the aggression. We might need to look into assisted living sooner than we thought. Marcus nodded. We have documentation, Dad. Your doctor's notes from last year, the memory tests after your fall, the unpaid bills, the times you've called us confused about your medication. I've never called you confused about medication. That's not what our records say, Lauren said. She held up her phone, showing me a notes app filled with dated entries. See, August 3rd, David called, confused about blood pressure medication dosage. September 12th, found kitchen stove left on after David made lunch. October 2nd, David accused neighbor of stealing his newspaper. Neighbor confirms paper was just delivered late. I stared at the screen, at the lies, typed out in neat chronological order. None of that happened. Your memory isn't what it used to be, Marcus said softly, fake sympathy dripping from every word. That's what everyone will hear, that we tried to help, and you became violent and paranoid. This is elder abuse, I said. What you're doing right now, no one's going to believe you, Lauren interrupted. You're a confused old man. We're your concerned children. Who do you think the system protects? Marcus raised the belt, not high, just enough. Last chance, Dad. Sign the papers. My throat felt tight, not from fear, from fury, from the crystal clear understanding that I'd raised someone capable of this. No, he lifted the belt higher, and then, ding dong, the doorbell rang. Marcus froze mid-motion. The belt hung in the air like a question mark. Lauren's head snapped toward the front door. Who the hell is that? I don't know, I said, but I did know. I knew exactly who it was. Ding dong, ding dong, insistent official. Don't answer it, Marcus hissed, lowering the belt slightly. It's probably just a delivery, Lauren said, but her voice had lost that confident edge. Ding dong, ding dong. They're not leaving, I said. Lauren moved to the window, peeked through the curtain. Her face went white, actually white. Marcus, she whispered. It's answer the door, a male voice called from outside. This is the police. The belt fell from Marcus's hand. It hit the kitchen tile with a wet slap. Shit, he breathed. Shit. They can't know anything, Lauren said quickly, her mind racing. We just got here. We were having a conversation. That's all. Nothing happened. The belt, Marcus stared at it on the floor like it was a rattlesnake. We were fixing a shelf or something. Dad asked for help. That's why you took it off. Bang, bang, bang. Open the door now. Should we? Marcus started. We have to, Lauren said. If we don't, it looks worse. She walked to the front door, smoothing her hair, composing her face, put on that smile, the one she used at her office, the one that said, I'm a professional. I'm reasonable. There's been a silly misunderstanding. She unlocked the deadbolt, opened the door, and then she screamed. Not a polite gasp, not a startled yelp, a full, primal scream that came from somewhere deep and terrified. Because standing on my porch were three people. Officer Michael Davis, Riverside PD, 15 years on the force, hand resting on his service weapon. Detective Sarah Walsh, Riverside PD Elder Abuse Unit, 23 years in law enforcement, holding a tablet. And attorney Richard Hernandez, Morrison and Associates, 20 years of elder law experience, carrying a briefcase that probably cost more than Lauren's coat. Good afternoon, attorney Hernandez said calmly. We're here to see David Chen. Lauren couldn't speak. Her mouth moved, but no sound came out. Officer Davis stepped inside, his eyes sweeping the room. They landed on Marcus, then on the belt on the floor, then on me at the kitchen table. Mr. Chen, Officer Davis said. Are you all right? I am now, I said. Marcus's hands were shaking. This is a misunderstanding. We were just what? Detective Walsh walked in behind Officer Davis, her eyes scanning everything with the methodical precision of someone who'd seen this before. Just threatening your elderly father? No, we would never. The belt on the floor, Walsh said. Why is it there? I was helping him hang a picture, Marcus stammered. I needed to take off my belt for some reason. What reason? She asked. He couldn't answer. Attorney Hernandez moved past them into the kitchen. He looked at the papers on the table, didn't touch them, looked at me. Mr. Chen, are you being coerced to sign legal documents? Yes, I said clearly. They're trying to force me to sign a power of attorney. That's not true, Lauren found her voice finally. We're concerned about his well-being. He's been having memory issues. We're trying to help by threatening him with a belt. Detective Walsh picked up the belt with a gloved hand, dropped it into an evidence bag that Officer Davis held out. No one threatened anyone. Marcus was sweating now. Dad, tell them this is just a family discussion. I looked at my son, at the panic in his eyes, at the realization dawning that maybe, just maybe, he'd miscalculated. They showed up unannounced, I said. Told me I had to sign over power of attorney. attorney. When I refused, Marcus took off his belt and threatened me with it. He's confused, Lauren said quickly. That's why we're here. He's not thinking clearly. He's— Mr. Chen, Attorney Hernandez interrupted her smoothly. Do you know what day it is? Tuesday, October 17th. Do you know your address? 447 Oak Ridge Drive, Riverside, California. Do you know who I am? Attorney Richard Hernandez. I hired you 3 months ago. Lauren's face went from white to gray. 3 months? Marcus whispered. Attorney Hernandez opened his briefcase, pulled out a thick folder. Mr. Chen contacted my office on July 22nd regarding concerns about financial exploitation. We've been monitoring the situation since then. Monitoring? Lauren's voice cracked. We filed a complaint with Adult Protective Services, Hernandez continued. We've documented multiple instances of attempted coercion and financial manipulation. Today's visit was expected. Expected? Marcus looked at me. Really looked at me. You knew we were coming? You texted me yesterday, I said. Said you needed to have a serious conversation about my future. I called Attorney Hernandez immediately. Detective Walsh pulled out her tablet. We have your text messages, Mr. Chen, the ones you sent to your wife last night. She turned the screen toward Lauren. Even from the table, I could see the messages. Marcus to Lauren, 10:47 p.m. Tomorrow, we do this tomorrow. He has to sign. Lauren to Marcus, 10:49 p.m. What if he refuses? Marcus to Lauren, 10:51 p.m. He won't have a choice. I'll make him understand. Lauren to Marcus, 10:53 p.m. Everything will be ours soon. Finally, the color drained from Lauren's face. How did you, she stammered. Mr. Chen has been forwarding us all communications for the past 3 months, Detective Walsh said, including phone calls. I pulled out my phone, the Samsung Galaxy I'd bought in August, specifically for its recording capabilities. I opened the voice memo app. I've been recording every conversation, I said, every visit, every phone call where you tried to convince me to sign papers or change my will or give you access to my accounts. I pressed play on the most recent recording, August 23rd, my kitchen. Marcus's voice came through clear as crystal. Dad, you're being selfish. That money should be helping the family. You're just hoarding it. When you die, it's all going to taxes anyway. Why not give it to us now? My voice. Because it's my money. I earned it. Marcus, you're too old to enjoy it. It's wasted on you. We have kids. We have expenses. We need it more than you do. I stopped the recording. I have 47 hours of conversations like that. Marcus's knees buckled. He grabbed the counter for support. You recorded us? Lauren's voice was shrill now. That's illegal. You can't record people without their consent. California is a two-party consent state, Attorney Hernandez said. However, there's an exception for recordings made in defense against elder abuse. Additionally, Mr. Chen posted notices throughout his home. He pointed. There, on my refrigerator, a small laminated sign. Notice. These premises may be subject to audio and video recording for security purposes. You've probably walked past that sign 20 times, Hernandez continued. Additionally, we have video. My mouth went dry. Even I didn't know about video. Hernandez pulled out a laptop, opened it, pressed play. The screen showed my kitchen. From the corner near the ceiling, a wide-angle view. There was Marcus, pulling off his belt, wrapping it around his fist. The timestamp in the corner, 2:37 p.m., 3 minutes ago. During the home security installation last month, Hernandez explained, Mr. Chen authorized placement of several cameras in common areas, all properly disclosed. The video showed everything. Marcus with the belt, Lauren laughing, the threats, the coercion. That's— Marcus couldn't finish. Officer Davis pulled out his handcuffs. Marcus Chen, you're under arrest for attempted assault on a vulnerable adult, elder abuse, and attempted financial exploitation. No, Marcus backed away. I wasn't going to actually hit him. I was just trying to scare him. You just confessed to assault and coercion, Detective Walsh said flatly. Please turn around. Wait, Dad, tell them. Tell them I wouldn't have hurt you. I looked at my son, at the man who'd threatened me with a belt in my own kitchen, at the person who'd spent 3 months trying to steal my life savings. I don't know what you would have done, I said quietly, and I'm grateful I didn't have to find out. Officer Davis handcuffed Marcus. Read him his rights. Marcus was crying now, actual tears streaming down his face. Lauren Chen, Detective Walsh said, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit elder abuse and attempted financial exploitation. This is insane! Lauren backed toward the door. We haven't done anything. This is entrapment. Entrapment requires law enforcement to induce you to commit a crime, Attorney Hernandez said. You showed up here voluntarily, with pre-written power of attorney documents, and engaged in coercion and threats. No one induced you to do that. Officer Davis handcuffed Lauren too. She was screaming now, hysterical, about lawyers and false accusations, and how her life was being ruined. They led them both outside, through my front yard, past Mrs. Patterson's house. She was watching from her window, phone out, past the Thompsons' place. They were on their porch, recording everything. By tomorrow, the whole neighborhood would know. The police cars left, red and blue lights fading down Oak Ridge Drive. Detective Walsh stayed behind. She sat at my kitchen table, pulled out a thick folder. Mr. Chen, I need to go through some things with you. Of course. When did you first suspect financial exploitation? I took a breath. This was the part I'd been dreading. Admitting out loud that I'd known, that I'd watched it happen, that I'd documented it instead of stopping it. About a year ago, I said. Maybe longer. I started noticing things. What things? Questions about my finances. Not normal questions, specific questions. How much was my pension? What were my account balances? Had I updated my will? Who was the beneficiary on my life insurance? I pulled out my own folder, a year's worth of documentation. At first I thought they were just concerned. Marcus said he was helping me organize my paperwork. Lauren said she wanted to make sure I had everything in order in case something happened. When did it change? March 14th, my birthday. They took me to dinner at Russo's, that Italian place downtown. Expensive. They ordered the good wine. And then Marcus said, "Dad, we need you to add me to your bank accounts, just as a cosigner, for emergencies." Detective Walsh made notes. I said no. I said I didn't need a cosigner, and his whole demeanor changed. He got cold, angry, said I was being paranoid, said I was pushing them away. I pulled out a document. 2 weeks later, I got a letter from my bank. Someone had attempted to add an authorized user to my accounts. The attempt was flagged because the signature didn't match mine. When I investigated, the application had Marcus's information on it. He tried to forge your signature. I confronted him. He denied it, said maybe someone at the bank made a mistake, said maybe I'd filled it out and forgotten. He suggested I get tested for dementia. Walsh's jaw tightened. That's when I started documenting everything, I continued. Every visit, every phone call, every text message. I kept a journal with dates and times. I saved every piece of mail, every bank statement, every bill. I showed her the journal, months of entries. April 3rd, Marcus asked about my life insurance policy, wanted to know the payout amount. When I asked why, he said he was just curious. May 17th, Lauren visited, asked if I'd thought about selling the house, said it was too much house for one person, suggested I move into a senior community and give her and Marcus the proceeds to invest for me. June 8th, Marcus showed up with power of attorney documents, said I should sign them just in case. When I read them carefully and realized they gave him complete control over everything, he got angry, said I didn't trust him. July 22nd, I called Attorney Hernandez. Detective Walsh looked up. Why then? What was the trigger? I pulled out my phone, showed her a screenshot. It was a text from Lauren to Marcus, but it had been sent to me by accident. She'd put me in a group chat with my name in it, probably to discuss me, and then forgotten to remove me before sending a message. The text read, "Once we get POA, we sell the house immediately. He doesn't need to know until it's done. He's too senile to fight us in court. Everything will be ours soon." Walsh's expression darkened. When I called Attorney Hernandez, I said, he told me about the elder abuse unit, about Detective Yu, about how this happens more often than people think, about how I could protect myself legally while building a case. "You could have stopped them sooner," Walsh said. "Not an accusation, just a statement." "I know, but I needed proof. I needed evidence that couldn't be explained away as misunderstanding or confusion. I needed them to show who they really were. Did you ever think they might actually hurt you?" I looked at the evidence bag on the table, the belt. "Not until today," I admitted. "I thought they'd manipulate, deceive, steal, but I didn't think Marcus would." My voice cracked. "He's your son," Walsh said gently. "Yes. And he threatened you with a weapon." "Yes." "I'm sorry." I nodded. Couldn't speak. Attorney Hernandez came back inside. He'd been on the phone in his car. "The DA's office will be filing charges, attempted elder abuse, financial exploitation, assault with intent, and they're looking into the forged bank documents. That might be federal." "How much time?" I asked. "If convicted, Marcus is looking at 3 to 7 years. Lauren, 2 to 5, 7 years. My son, in prison." "Mr. Chen," Hernandez said, "you did the right thing." "Did I?" I asked. "I let it get this far. I watched my son become that, and I documented it instead of stopping it." "You protected yourself," Walsh said. "You built a case that's airtight. Without your documentation, this would be he said, she said. They'd claim you were confused, that you misunderstood, that they were trying to help. But now, we have recordings, video, text messages, forged documents, a pattern of exploitation. They'll go to prison because of me. They'll go to prison because of their choices," Hernandez corrected. "You didn't make them threaten you. You didn't make them try to steal from you. You didn't make them forge signatures or coerce you or show up here today with legal documents and a weapon." I knew he was right. Intellectually, I knew he was right. But my son was in a police car. My daughter-in-law was probably calling lawyers. My family was destroyed, and I'd orchestrated all of it. "What happens now?" I asked. "Now you live your life," Walsh said. "You have your house, your accounts, your independence, everything they tried to take from you. And them? Court dates, probably a plea deal, restitution, restraining orders, supervised visitation if they have other family. My grandchildren," I said. "Marcus and Lauren have 2 kids, 6 and 9. Walsh's expression softened. "We'll work with Child Protective Services. Make sure they're safe. Make sure they know what happened. What do I tell them? How do I explain that their parents—" "You tell them the truth," Hernandez said. "Age appropriately. You tell them that sometimes people make very bad choices, and that you love them, and that none of this was their fault." After they left, I sat in my kitchen for a long time. The power of attorney documents were still on the table. I picked them up, read through them. They were comprehensive, gave Marcus complete control over everything. My medical decisions, my finances, my property, even the right to place me in a nursing facility against my will. If I'd signed them, I would have been powerless. I would have lost everything. I thought about the last year, the lies, the manipulation, the slow, calculated attempt to take control of my life. I thought about my wife, gone 16 years now, how she'd she'd loved Marcus, how proud she'd been when he'd gotten into college, when he'd gotten married, when he'd had kids. What would she think of him now? My phone rang. Unknown number. Mr. Chen, this is Rebecca Parks from Channel 7 News. We received reports of an arrest at your address. Do you have any comment? I hung up. It rang again. Different number. A reporter from the Tribune. I turned off my phone. The next morning, it was everywhere. Local man arrested for elder abuse after threatening father with belt. Son and daughter-in-law face charges in power of attorney scam. Retired engineer catches family's exploitation plot on camera. My neighbor, Mrs. Patterson, came by with soup. David, I'm so sorry. We had no idea. If we'd known, no one knew, I said. That was the point. Over the next 3 weeks, more came out. The DA's investigation revealed that Marcus and Lauren had been planning this for over a year. They'd researched elder exploitation cases. They'd consulted with a lawyer who'd refused to help them and had reported their inquiry to the state bar. They'd even practiced the conversation, role-playing how to intimidate me into signing. Their house was in foreclosure. They had $180,000 in credit card debt. Lauren had lost her job 6 months ago and hadn't told anyone. They needed my money to save themselves, and they'd been willing to destroy me to get it. The trial was set for January, but in December, they took a plea deal. Marcus, 4 years in state prison. Lauren, 3 years. Restitution of $50,000 for emotional damages. Permanent restraining order. I was in the courtroom when they were sentenced. Marcus wouldn't look at me. Lauren cried through the whole proceeding. The judge, Honorable Patricia Reeves, 28 years on the bench, looked at them with something like disgust. You targeted the person who gave you life, she said to Marcus, who raised you, who loved you, not a stranger, not someone who wronged you, your own father, because you wanted money. Marcus's lawyer tried to speak. The judge held up her hand. I've read the transcripts. I've watched the videos. I've seen the pattern of exploitation. This wasn't a momentary lapse. This was calculated, methodical, cruel. She looked at me. Mr. Chen, do you wish to make a statement? I stood. My hands shook, but my voice was steady. Marcus, I loved you. I still love you, but I can't trust you. I can't forgive what you tried to do. Maybe someday, but not now. Not yet. He looked at me then. His eyes were red. He mouthed something. Maybe, I'm sorry. Maybe something else. Lauren, you encouraged this. You planned this. You laughed while your husband threatened me. You're not a victim here. You're an architect. She looked away. I hope you both learn something from this. I hope you both change, but that's not my responsibility anymore. My responsibility is to protect myself, and I will. The judge sentenced them. They were taken away in handcuffs. I walked out of the courthouse into cold December air. Attorney Hernandez walked with me. You did well in there, he said. I sent my son to prison. Your son sent himself to prison. You just made sure justice happened. We stood on the courthouse steps. Media vans lined the street. Reporters shouted questions. Mr. Chen, do you have any regrets? Mr. Chen, will you ever reconcile with your family? Mr. Chen, what message do you have for other elderly people facing exploitation? I looked at the cameras, at the reporters, at the people watching, and I said, document everything. Trust your instincts. Don't let anyone make you doubt your own mind. And remember, you're not selfish for protecting yourself. You're smart. That clip played on every news channel that night. 6 months later, I'm still in my house, still living independently, still managing my own affairs. My grandchildren visit sometimes, supervised by their maternal grandmother. I tell them stories. I help with homework. I don't talk about their parents unless they ask. When they ask, and they do ask, I tell them the truth. Your parents made choices that hurt people. They're facing consequences, but that doesn't mean they don't love you, and it doesn't mean you're like them. The older one, Emma, 9 now, asked me last week, Papa, do you hate them? No, I said. I'm angry. I'm hurt, but I don't hate them. Do you love them? I thought about that. Really thought about it. Yes, I said finally. But love isn't enough sometimes. Sometimes you have to protect yourself from people you love, and that's okay. She hugged me tight. I love you, Papa. I love you too, sweetheart. My phone still has those recordings. My lawyer still has those files. The evidence that destroyed my family and saved my life. I listen to them sometimes. Late at night, when I can't sleep, I listen to my son's voice threatening me, to my daughter-in-law laughing, to my own voice steady and calm, refusing to back down. And I remember I did the right thing, even when it hurt, especially when it hurt, because sometimes the people who should protect you are the ones you need protection from. And when that happens, you don't apologize for saving yourself. You don't apologize for surviving. You just live and let them face what they've earned.